He's back. Welcome in Broncos Country to the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. My name is Moose. We've got some breaking news to talk about on today's episode of the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. The first thing that I got to ask you to do, though, if you're excited to see Dre Greenlaw suit up for the very first time in 2025, hit that thumbs up icon and hit that subscribe button for all breaking Denver Broncos news and rumors. Oh, we got a lot to talk about. So, Ian Rappaport, Zach Stevens, multiple other Denver Broncos news outlets, beat reporters, basically wherever you find your Broncos news, they're all over this, so I'm all over it as well. Dre Greenlaw has been activated to the 53-man roster and will make his Broncos debut for the first time in 2025 against the New York Giants. Why is this important? I'm not going to say that Alex Singleton and Justin Strnad have been bad this year. They have not. However, there are some clear limitations to what Alex Singleton can do in pass coverage. Same with Justin Strnad. They might be great pressure players, right? Play really well at the line of scrimmage, able to blitz when necessary, can, stop the run if need be, but they're not great in defending the middle of the field against the pass. Dre Greenlaw, going to be your best coverage linebacker when he steps foot on the field. Now, I'm not expecting Dre Greenlaw to play 100% of the snaps. Hell, I would be impressed if he played 50% of the snaps. But he's got to be in a place where that quad is definitely back to at least 80%, to the point where he can now step onto the football field and play against Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo. I don't want to say that Dre Greenlaw is the missing piece for this Denver Broncos defense because, let's be completely honest, it's been number one in the entire NFL. However, this is all gravy. This is all gravy. It's like having a big old pile of mashed potatoes on Thanksgiving, and then Dre Greenlaw comes in, and that's just the gravy on top. That's all that this move is. But it is nonetheless a very important move, especially defending a player like Jackson Dart, who can make plays with his legs. Greenlaw will be able to track him down if he decides to get outside of the pocket and make things happen with his legs on like a 3rd and 6 trying to scramble for that first down. You can bet your bottom dollar that Vance Joseph is going to blitz Jackson Dart. Now, we talked all week about how Dart is very good against the blitz, which is kind of uncharacteristic for a rookie quarterback. But I've seen enough from Jackson Dart on tape that I'm like, okay, you cannot blitz this guy like you blitz Cam Ward, right? It's a better offensive line. Andrew Thomas is a really good starting left tackle. But the Broncos defense should be able to make enough plays and put enough pressure on him to win this game handedly, in my opinion. It's all going to come down to the offense, but we're going to stick right on Dre Greenlaw for the remainder of this episode because this is what it's all about. So we have talked a lot on this channel about the frustration that we have with this whole Dre Greenlaw situation. And that being, we were told he was all right, on pace to start, things got sidetracked, things got worse before they got better, and then boom, all of a sudden, he is on IR, short-term IR. And there's a lot of Broncos fans, including myself, that were like, why are we paying this guy $10 million a year to sit the bench? This is something that we need to see in action. If we're going to justify paying a linebacker, an inside linebacker, $30 million, because that's the length of his contract, that's the amount of his contract, I want to see him on the field. I want to see him in action. And this is a player that we have noted multiple times going back to his San Francisco days, that when he's alongside the player like Fred Warner, these are probably the two best linebacking duos in the NFL, period. So to see him now back in action is going to be something that I truly believe is just going to be remarkable to watch. Now, you could sit there and go, it doesn't really matter that much. We've been doing fine without him. Fine, you're entitled to your opinion. But if I'm paying a player $30 million and he's my middle linebacker, I can pretty much bet my bottom dollar, no pun intended, that middle of the field is now in his command. I want to see the communication be better because, look, when he was in San Francisco, he didn't have to be that green dot linebacker. That was Fred Warner's job. He was the captain of that defense. Dre Greenlaw was able to be that, Robin to the Batman, the Jonathan Cooper to Nick Bonito. But now we have the opportunity to see what he is like as the main character, as that Batman, as that, green dot middle linebacker, commander of the middle of the field, and it's going to be electric to watch. He's also really good against the run, so that should definitely help going up against a player like Cam Scadaboo, who, we've seen bang his head literally into a wall all week long on social media. There's a lot of Giants fans that are calling out Broncos country and, Nick Bonito and this whole drama on social media. I don't buy into any of that stuff. What does it look like when you're on the field? That's what we're concerned about. Does it look good from a football product? And if Nick Bonito and Jonathan Cooper, Zach Allen, that whole Broncos pass rush isn't worried about it, neither am I. This is the best pass rush in the NFL. It's not even close. We could be seeing an all-time sack number by the end of the 2025 football season. And having a player like Dre Greenlaw, who doesn't necessarily have to be a pressure player, who can just sit back and be the commander of the middle of the field, is something the Broncos have been missing. No discredit to Alex Singleton. That's not his role. We can all agree on that. It's not his role. And as good as he's looked at times this season, and there's been times where he's looked bad, right? Especially in pass coverage. But I think we can all agree Alex Singleton has been just fine. Same with Justin Strnad. He's filled that role really, really nicely. But when you go up and play against these better teams like you're going to see later on this football season, you will need a player like Dre Greenlaw. I mean, look at the quarterbacks that you're going to be playing here very shortly. You're going to be playing CJ Stroud. You're going to be playing Patrick Mahomes twice. You're going to be playing Justin Herbert one more time. You're going to be playing Jordan Love, Jaden Daniels. So you've got all of these players and these quarterbacks that are really, really good at picking apart not only man coverage, but zone defense. You need every defensive weapon to combat that good quarterback play. Dre Greenlaw is the gravy on top of this already loaded mashed potato defense. And that probably sounds really stupid coming out of my mouth and kind of sounds a little corny, a little cheesy, but I'm not going to lie to you. That I'm feeling good right now. I'm feeling like, hey, this was it. This was the extra move that we needed to make. So here's what we know. This Sunday, Empower Field, a mile high, Dre Greenlaw will make his Broncos debut. And like I said, I'm not expecting him to play 100% of the snaps, nor do I really want him to do that. The last thing you want to do is as soon as you get your car out of the shop, right, is send it at 100 miles an hour. That's not what you do. You gradually work it up. You start at 20, go to 40, 60, and then eventually, you're on week 11, 12, 13. You can start revving it up a little bit and start pushing it down the highway. So that's what I'm kind of expecting from Sean Payton, Vance Joseph, and their kind of approach to what Dre Greenlaw is going to be this Sunday against the Giants. I expect them to play, in my opinion, I would say 35 to 40% of the snaps. If he can go 50% of the snaps, that's great. But rotate him in with Justin Strnad, rotate him in with Alex Singleton, and just see what you got. See what you got. Because they would not put this guy out there if he wasn't ready to contribute to the team. Remember, this is exactly why you subscribe. We're going to give you all the latest breaking Denver Broncos news, all the best rumors, all the latest trade stuff from Adam Schefter and the like. And guess what? The trade deadline is coming up very, very shortly. If the Broncos continue to win, I do expect more trade talk surrounding Denver to start to pick up a little bit. November 4th is the trade deadline. If I'm looking at my date right now, that is 17 days away, 2.5 weeks. So you could start to see a lot more buzz coming out from guys like Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport, etc., so on and so forth. Remember to subscribe, like that video because Dre is officially back. Broncos country, a mile high salute. I will see you all tomorrow.